Toromiro tree was once found only on Easter Island, where centuries of environmental change and human activity pushed it to extinction in the wild. By the 20th century, only a few trees were known to remain, and eventually the last confirmed wild tree disappeared. But the species did not completely vanish. Seeds and cultivated plants survived outside the island, allowing conservationists to preserve its genetic material. Today, efforts continue to reintroduce Toromiro to its native home. Its story is unusual because the tree truly disappeared from nature, yet humans managed to keep its lineage alive. St. Helena Ebony was a small tree native to the remote island of St. Helena in the South Atlantic. Its dense, dark wood made it valuable, and centuries of habitat destruction and introduced animals contributed to its disappearance from the wild. For a time, the species was considered extinct. Then, surviving plants were discovered in cultivation, giving conservationists a chance to preserve it. Although the original wild population was lost, its descendants survived under human care. St. Helena Ebony shows that extinction is not always an instant event. Sometimes a species can disappear from its natural habitat while its last surviving individuals continue its story elsewhere. Kokia is one of Hawaii's most unusual and endangered native trees. Several Kokia species have faced dramatic population declines because of habitat loss, invasive species, and other pressures. One species, Kokia cookie, became especially famous because the last known wild tree died in the 20th century. Fortunately, conservationists had already collected material from it, and plants were propagated through grafting onto related Kokia rootstocks. That meant the species could survive even after its final wild tree was gone. Today, Kokia remains a powerful example of how careful conservation can prevent a species from disappearing completely. Coco de Mer is a giant palm found naturally only on a few islands of the Seychelles. Its enormous seeds are among the largest and heaviest produced by any plant, making the palm instantly recognizable. For centuries, its mysterious seeds were found floating far from their source, leading to strange legends about where they came from. The species survived despite heavy historical collection of its seeds and pressure on its limited habitat. Today, protected populations remain, although the palm still faces conservation challenges. Coco de Mer proves that sometimes survival depends not on being widespread, but on protecting the few places where a remarkable species still has a chance to thrive. Florida Torreya is a small evergreen tree native to a tiny area along the Apalachicola River in northern Florida. Once more common, it suffered a dramatic decline during the 20th century, with severe disease and other environmental pressures reducing its wild population. For decades, scientists worried that the species might disappear completely. Conservationists responded by protecting remaining trees, propagating young plants, and establishing them in suitable locations. Florida Torreya is not literally immortal, but its survival is remarkable because the species has persisted despite an extremely restricted natural range and a population reduced to a fraction of its former abundance.
Pine of Cook, also called Cook pine, is a distinctive conifer native to New Caledonia and the South Pacific. Its narrow, column-like shape makes it look almost artificially symmetrical, and its branches often form an elegant tiered structure around the trunk. The species has survived for millions of years through major environmental changes, while its ancestors belong to an ancient conifer lineage that once occupied much broader prehistoric landscapes. Today, Cook pines are also grown in other warm regions around the world. Their survival is a reminder that an ancient lineage does not need to remain unchanged. It can adapt while continuing through generations.
Chilean Wine Palm is a massive palm native to central Chile, where it survives in scattered populations. It grows extremely slowly, but can eventually develop a huge, smooth trunk and a broad crown of leaves. For centuries, people harvested its sap and seeds, putting pressure on natural populations, while agriculture and habitat changes further reduced its range. Despite those pressures, some ancient palms still survive today. Its enormous size can make the tree look almost prehistoric, but its real survival story comes from its ability to persist for exceptionally long periods. Protecting mature trees and allowing younger palms to regenerate are important for keeping this remarkable species alive.
Socompa Tree is associated with the harsh, high-altitude landscapes around Socompa in the Andes, where vegetation must survive intense sunlight, freezing temperatures, dry air, and very little water. Trees growing in these extreme environments face conditions that would quickly kill many lowland species. The plants that survive there tend to grow slowly and conserve water carefully, often remaining low and wind-shaped rather than becoming towering forest trees. What makes this story fascinating is not enormous size, but endurance, surviving year after year in one of the planet's most demanding terrestrial environments. In such places, simply continuing to grow can be an extraordinary achievement.
Found only on the island of Maui. Its scientific name is Hibiscadelphus walderianus, and it was already extremely rare when botanists formally documented it in the early 20th century. The last known tree disappeared, and the species is now considered extinct. What makes its story especially remarkable is that scientists later preserved genetic information from its remaining specimen. In 2019, researchers even recreated the scent of its flower from DNA recovered from a herbarium specimen. The tree itself is gone, but modern science has allowed part of its biological story to survive. There is an important problem with this name. Nicaraguan nettle tree is not a reliably established common name for a distinct tree species in the botanical sources I could verify. Nettle plants of the genus Urtica are documented in Nicaragua, including Urtica dioica, but these are herbs rather than trees. They are covered with specialized stinging hairs that inject irritating chemicals when touched. That makes the name interesting, but calling it a true tree would be misleading. For your video, I recommend replacing this item rather than giving the audience incorrect information. Lignum Vitae refers to several exceptionally dense, slow-growing trees of the genus Guaiacacum, native to the Caribbean and parts of tropical America. Their wood is so heavy and resin-rich that it was historically prized for demanding uses where strength and resistance to wear mattered. But centuries of exploitation and habitat loss placed these trees under serious pressure. Their slow growth makes recovery especially difficult because replacing a mature tree can take a very long time. Today, conservation efforts are important for maintaining remaining populations. Lignum Vitae is a powerful example of a tree that survived human pressure, despite being one of the most valuable woods in its native region. Franklin tree, scientifically known as Franklinia alamatamaha, has one of the strangest survival stories of any North American tree. It was discovered growing along Georgia's Altamaha River in 1765, but by the early 1800s, it had disappeared from the wild. Nobody knows with certainty exactly what caused its extinction there. Theories include habitat destruction, fire, flooding, disease, and collecting. Fortunately, seeds had been collected by the Bartrams before the tree vanished. Every Franklin tree alive today is believed to descend from that cultivated material. So although the species is extinct in the wild, the tree itself survived in gardens and botanical collections around the world.